Hello, friends and colleagues. I've been asked to show you a little about how we use EdInsight to support our MTSS here at Phillips. So, in order to get into MTSS functionality on EdInsight, there's a couple ways you can get there. You see that there's an MTSS tab on the main menu, and we'll get to that here in a few minutes. But the easiest way to get to the MTSS for a particular student is just by doing a student search, and that's how I'm going to start. So if I pull up a student, you can see on the student's homepage, you have all the information I'm sure most of you are familiar with, the contacts, assessments, attendance, grades, all these different things. But there's also the MTSS tab on the menu. And if we click on that, we can see all the different things we can see right from the student homepage. I'm going to skip right to the intervention summary, and we can see that on the student's page, along with their other demographic information, we can see their MTSS tierings. And we click on the summary, we can see very specifically that this student is Tier 2 in Reading ELA. This student is Tier 2 in Math. And we can also see right on that page what the curriculum materials are, what the skill is. So I'm going to click on Edit Intervention, and we'll see what that looks like. So we'll see here that the intervention skill is listed, the materials are listed. Person responsible could be the person who created the intervention. It could also be the person who is responsible for carrying out the intervention. In this case, this teacher is carrying out the intervention. This teacher created it. They don't have to be the same. You can see the duration, the 6 weeks for once a week for 30 minutes. The initiation date and the review date is going to remind us to review. And then what you see in the text box is you can add very detailed, as detailed as you want, actual plans. And you see this one is detailed down to the minute for the intervention teacher to work with that particular student specifically on what they need. If we click on the tracking form, so the teacher goes and meets with the student, implements the intervention, and here's where they can track it. And you see that we have our teachers just give a date, who they met with, and some type of detail on what they did, and some type of benchmarking. It could be anecdotal, it could be dibbles, or some other type of benchmarking tool, so we can see if the intervention's working and if that student is making progress. So also on this particular page, on the side menu under MTSS, is a meeting note functionality. Every time we meet on a student, we can create this meeting agenda where we take notes and we can put in whatever data, any data that is put into EdInsight, we can also include in the meeting. So this particular situation, we can include attendance, including details. We can include grade history, PSSA history, Dibbles history, local assessments, and then at the bottom, the actual notes of the meeting that we had. So we can print this and give it as a copy for all the attendees to take with them. But it's also nice to look back when we're talking about students at previous meetings to see what we talked about and how that student has come along. So it's really powerful as well. Okay. The last thing I'm going to show you on this page is the MTSS notes and documents. So teachers can actually upload documents if they want to upload samples of student work or assignments for students to do during the intervention. And the teacher can also add notes. Just click and say, this is something I'm seeing, so-and-so struggling with fluency, whatever. And we can get a nice list of notes there, which could really be helpful. And the nice thing about the EdInsight is it's all housed for all the teachers in the school can go in, do a student search, and see all of this information for that particular student. And as the years go by, they can see up to 5 years back. So if you have a student in 5th grade and you want to see some of the struggles or accomplishments or things that have been done for them 2 or 3 years ago, you'll be able to go on and see that here as well. So if we go on to the MTSS tab, there's a lot of different things we can do here, but I'm going to show you just a couple. How do you tier students? Well, we can do it a couple different ways. Now, if we go by student group, I'm not going to go into it right now, but on the main page, you can actually create student groups. And what we did was we used some really creative scheduling to free up teachers at different times and periods and days throughout the week. And then we assigned those teachers 1 to 3 students, and we put them in groups. So this particular teacher has a group of 3, okay? And if we wanted all those 3 students to have the same tier and the same intervention, we could click on all the boxes, tier selected students, and we could tier them all tier 2 right from that page. That group of students is all tier 2'd. Then, if we wanted to give them an intervention plan, we could assign that intervention plan. If you notice down here, as soon as we tier somebody 2 or 3, we can assign an intervention. We cannot assign an intervention unless a student is tiered 2 or 3. So we can click assign intervention plan, right? Create the plan, and then you'll see the same options as we saw earlier. We can pick the skill, we can pick the curriculum materials, duration, frequency, and put whatever plan we want down here. Okay, so it's that easy. Now, if we didn't have student groups, that's okay. We could simply just pick a grade level, and all the students from that grade level will appear. And we could, at that point in time, we could tier 1 or all of those students or as many students as we wanted and assign them interventions, just like that. Okay? So that's basically how we use it here at Phillips. I think it can be a really powerful tool to help support your MTSS. Anyone would like to talk more about it or come see how we do it, or I could come to you and help you some more, I'd be glad to do that. Just reach out to me. I hope you guys have an awesome day at Leading and Learning, and I'll see you guys when I get back from Chicago.